The UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon has called on the Security Council to reduce the number of military observers in Syria, saying they should instead focus on political efforts to end the violence.
About 300 UN observers suspended their activities on June 16th as escalating battles made it too risky for them to continue their work. Diplomatic sources say the report calls on the UN mission to refocus on fostering political dialogue in Syria rather than trying to stop the violence and monitor the truce. The report also proposes concentrating observers in the capital Damascus instead of deploying them at a number of places.
In his report on the UN mission in Syria, the Secretary-General said that Kofi Annan's six-point plan has, quote, regrettably not been implemented in any meaningful way. He then went on to put forward the options for the peacekeeping force in Syria. The first of those would be complete withdrawal from the country. But he said this would signal a loss of faith that there can be any peace in the country. It would also remove any sole independent monitors and observers on the ground. Another option would be maintaining the current force in its current size and capacity, but Ban Ki-moon says that the violence and hostilities there are making it difficult for the peacekeepers to do as they can right now, and that we've already seen that because the activities of those monitors were suspended a couple of weeks ago. The next option would be expanding the size of the force and perhaps adding armed protection. But he said this would introduce a lot of complications. It would need the approval of the host country Syria, and that seems unlikely. It would also mean they would have to find the troops willing to go in and carry out that role, and perhaps raise expectations that armed forces would protect civilians. The fourth option, and the one that Ban Ki-moon recommends, is refocusing the group and giving them new roles. He wants the observers to go back to Damascus and serve to be political mediators for all the parties in an attempt to find a political solution and a stop to the violence. Why are they staying? The UN doesn't want to abandon the Syrian people, doesn't want to lose face, and wants to keep its presence there in case a political solution does present itself. The United Nations Security Council will discuss this in the coming days. The mandate expires on the 20th of July, and they will vote on what happens next with their peacekeeping force.